In the vast, grim darkness of the 41st millennium, where war is unending and loyalty to the Emperor of mankind defines one's very existence, there exist outliers. These are not heretics screaming blasphemies to dark gods, nor Xenos seeking to devour or corrupt. These are warriors, clad in the same ceramite and adamantium that protects the Space Marines, wielding bolters and chainswords forged in the fires of Imperial forges. Yet, they are distinct in one pivotal way. They fight without a chapter, without a heraldry to call their own. They are the Black Shields, a shadowy enigma among the ranks of the Astartes. To the untrained eye, the concept of a Black Shield might seem implausible. After all, the Adeptus Astartes are legendary not only for their physical prowess, but also for their unwavering fealty to their chapters, the Imperium, and the Emperor himself. Each chapter bears its own identity, its culture, and its honor, forming bonds tighter than mortal kin. What could drive one of these superhuman warriors to cast aside their chapter, to shun its traditions, and erase their oaths of allegiance? The Black Shields offer no answers. Their existence challenges the very fabric of what it means to be an Astartes. The name Black Shield itself evokes mystery and dread. These warriors often adorn themselves in plain black armor, stripped of all insignias or markings that might betray their origins. Their presence on the battlefield is rare, often fleeting, and always shrouded in secrecy. For every confirmed sighting, dozens more are whispered of in barrack tales and battle reports, their deeds mythologized by those who encounter them. To many within the Imperium, the Black Shields are an unsettling reminder of the fragility of loyalty. If even the angels of death can turn away from their sacred bonds, what hope does humanity have? Yet the Black Shields are not traitors, nor are they mere deserters. They occupy a strange liminal space, neither fully Imperial nor outright renegade. Some fight with a desperate need to prove their worth, aligning themselves with Imperial forces in times of dire need. Others operate independently, pursuing agendas known only to themselves. A few, it is rumored, walk the razor's edge between loyalty and treachery, engaging in acts that defy the binary morality of the Imperium. The ambiguity surrounding them is as much a weapon as the bolt guns they wield, sowing doubt and fear among allies and enemies alike. To understand the Black Shields, one must delve into the unforgiving nature of the galaxy itself. The Horus Heresy, that great civil war that shattered the Imperium millennia ago, set the precedent for the breaking of brotherhoods and the questioning of oaths. Entire legions were torn apart by ideological schisms, and some warriors, unable to reconcile their loyalties, chose paths of solitude. While the heresy is long past, its legacy endures. In the dark corners of the galaxy, where oversight is scarce and the lines between duty and survival blur, the seeds of rebellion and independence take root. For some Black Shields, their decision is a matter of survival. Their chapters may have been destroyed, leaving them stranded and purposeless. For others, it is a matter of principle, a rejection of corrupt leadership, or the rigid doctrines of their brothers. And then there are those whose motivations are entirely personal, driven by grudges, guilt, or vendettas. Each Black Shield represents a unique tale of conflict and defiance, woven into the greater tapestry of the Imperium's ceaseless struggle. In this tale, we will journey into the shadows cast by these enigmatic warriors. We will unravel their stories, exploring the key players who define their existence, the preconditions that lead to their formation, and the pivotal events that cemented their place in the lore of the 41st millennium. Along the way, we will examine their impact on the galaxy, their distinct technologies and tactics, and the individuals, both heroic and villainous, who have shaped their legend. Finally, we will peer into the unanswered questions and enduring mysteries that make the Black Shields one of the most compelling enigmas of Warhammer 40k. To understand the Black Shields is not merely to understand a footnote in the annals of the Imperium. It is to confront the very essence of loyalty, identity, and survival in a galaxy that offers no easy answers. For in the darkness of the far future, where there is only war, even the most steadfast warriors must sometimes walk alone. The origins of the Black Shields lie in the cracks of the Imperium's grand narrative, in the moments when unity faltered and oaths were strained beyond breaking. Unlike most Astartes, who draw their identity and purpose from their chapters, Black Shields are born from fracture, splintered bonds, shattered ideals, and choices made in isolation. To understand how these warriors first emerged, one must explore the pressures that shaped them, pressures as unyielding as the void itself. The earliest known instances of Black Shields can be traced back to the great conflicts that ravaged the galaxy, where the boundaries of loyalty were repeatedly tested. In battle zones where reinforcements failed to arrive, where communication was severed, or where leadership crumbled under the weight of war, survival often required acts of defiance. Astartes, cut off from their chapters and forced to act on their own, sometimes found that their decisions placed them outside the rigid expectations of their battle brothers. What begins as a pragmatic response to dire circumstances can quickly grow into something more profound, a severance not just of communication, but of identity. The galaxy's scale plays no small part in this phenomenon. A single misstep in the warp can strand ships for centuries, separating warriors from their chapters with no hope of reunion. For some, this separation is a death sentence. For others, it is a rebirth. Unable to return to the banners under which they were forged, they forged new paths. In the Imperium, such actions are rarely welcomed. Straying from duty invites suspicion and, in some cases, retribution. But the vastness of the galaxy ensures that not every deviation is punished. In forgotten sectors and uncharted systems, these lone Astartes survive by adapting, often forming small, nameless war bands that reflect their fragmented identities. The Horus heresy left scars that never fully healed, and its echoes resonate in the stories of the Black Shields. The Civil War tore apart not only the legions, but also the very concept of trust within the Imperium. Those who survived the heresy carried the weight of its betrayals, and for some, the only way forward was to reject all affiliations. In the years following the heresy, as the Codex Astartes reshaped the legions into chapters, not all warriors were willing or able to conform. Some rejected the restructuring altogether, while others found themselves cast aside, deemed unfit for the new order. These outcasts, stripped of their place in the grand design, became the seeds of what would later be known as the Black Shields. While the heresy may have provided the initial spark, the centuries that followed ensured the persistence of the Black Shields as a phenomenon. The Imperium is a place of endless war, and war breeds chaos. Not the demonic kind, but the chaos of shattered command structures, miscommunications, and desperate improvisations. It is in these chaotic crucibles that Black Shields are often forged. Entire squads, even companies, have been known to abandon their colors when faced with corruption within their ranks, unjust orders, or leaders who valued personal glory over the mission. These warriors, bound by shared disillusionment, often turn their backs on the institutions that once defined them. One particularly compelling origin story involves the aftermath of failed crusades. The Imperium's thirst for expansion often leads to campaigns that stretch resources to their breaking point. Astartes sent to the fringes of known space can find themselves stranded when those campaigns falter. Without support, and sometimes without a clear chain of command, these warriors must decide whether to continue fighting, surrender, or carve out a new purpose. For some, the choice to abandon their chapter's banners is not an act of rebellion, but one of survival, a decision made in the shadow of annihilation. Black Shields have also emerged from internal strife. Though Astartes are engineered to be paragons of discipline, even they are not immune to ideological divisions. Disputes over strategy, ethics, or interpretations of their chapter's traditions can escalate, leading to irreparable splits. When these rifts occur, those who cannot reconcile with their brothers are often forced to leave, choosing exile over continued conflict. For these warriors, the adoption of the Black Shield identity is as much a rejection of their past as it is an embrace of the unknown. It is worth noting that the decision to become a Black Shield is rarely made lightly. For an Astartes, abandoning their chapter is akin to abandoning their soul. The rituals, symbols, and bonds that define a chapter are deeply ingrained in its warriors, shaping not only their actions but also their sense of self. To cast these aside is to step into a void of uncertainty, where the only certainty is that they will be seen as an outsider, a potential threat. For some, this ostracization is a price worth paying. For others, it is a torment that drives them to the brink of madness. Despite their disparate origins, Black Shields share one defining characteristic: resilience. Stripped of the support structures that sustain most Astartes, they must rely on their wits, their skills, and their unyielding will to endure. Whether driven by survival, principle, or vengeance, they find ways to adapt, often forming loose alliances with others who share their fate. These alliances, though tenuous, allow them to continue fighting, even as they remain estranged from the larger conflicts that dominate the galaxy. The emergence of the Black Shields is not a single event, but a recurring phenomenon, a reminder of the fragility of loyalty and the unpredictable nature of war. They are a testament to the idea that even in a galaxy of absolutes, there is room for those who choose to walk their own path, however lonely and uncertain it may be. In the end, their story is one of survival, a defiance of the forces that seek to bind them to a fate they can no longer accept. The emergence of the Black Shields as a distinct phenomenon in the galaxy was not the result of a single event, but the culmination of countless factors that converged over millennia. At its core, their existence speaks to the Imperium's inherent contradictions, its rigid structure, unyielding demands for loyalty, and the unrelenting chaos of its wars. These elements, combined with the vast and often incomprehensible scale of the galaxy, created an environment in which the formation of Black Shields became almost inevitable. One of the most significant factors contributing to the rise of Black Shields is the Imperium's inability to provide universal oversight across its territories. The sheer enormity of the galaxy, with its countless systems, regions, and war zones, ensures that not every Astartes chapter operates under the same level of scrutiny. Chapters deployed to distant or isolated sectors often find themselves cut off from the broader Imperium, with no immediate recourse to higher authorities. This isolation fosters a sense of independence, and in some cases leads to irreparable breaks from established norms. The demands placed on the Adeptus Astartes also play a role. Space Marines are not merely soldiers, they are instruments of the Emperor's will, expected to carry out orders without hesitation or question. However, this expectation does not account for the complex realities of war. When commanders issue orders that conflict with moral codes, tactical sensibilities, or the survival of their forces, Astartes are forced into impossible positions. Some choose to disobey, prioritizing their own judgment over the rigid chains of command. For those whose decisions lead to ostracization, exile often becomes the only viable path forward. Corruption within the Imperium is another driving force behind the rise of Black Shields. The Imperium's bureaucracy is vast and often plagued by inefficiency, greed, and infighting. Even the Astartes, held as paragons of loyalty and honor, are not immune to these flaws. Leadership failures, internal politicking, and the prioritization of personal glory over strategic necessity can create rifts within chapters. When warriors find their ideals betrayed by the very institutions they swore to protect, some choose to sever their ties rather than compromise their principles. The nature of Astartes culture itself can also lead to fragmentation. Each chapter is a highly insular entity with its own traditions, doctrines, and interpretations of the Emperor's will. While this diversity is a strength in many ways, it can also breed division. Disagreements over tactics, philosophy, or even the interpretation of ancient texts have been known to escalate into full-blown conflicts. In some cases, warriors who cannot reconcile with their brothers choose to leave rather than remain in an environment of constant discord. The Imperium's reliance on unrelenting warfare exacerbates these divisions. Space Marines are deployed in endless campaigns across the galaxy, often with little regard for the psychological and emotional toll this takes. The bonds of brotherhood that define a chapter can fray under the strain of relentless combat, particularly when losses mount and victories prove hollow. In the aftermath of grueling campaigns, some Astartes find themselves questioning the purpose of their sacrifices. These doubts, if left unchecked, can grow into a desire to abandon the chapter altogether. The warp itself, with its unpredictable nature, also contributes to the phenomenon of the Black Shields. Warp travel is fraught with danger, and entire fleets can vanish into its depths for centuries. When ships re-emerge, the warriors aboard often find themselves irrevocably changed, cut off from their chapters and thrust into a galaxy that has moved on without them. Some choose to forge new paths rather than attempt to reintegrate into their former lives. These warriors, shaped by the harrowing experiences of the warp, often become Black Shields, embracing their new status as a means of survival. Another key factor is the Imperium's history of catastrophic events. The galaxy is marked by periods of extreme upheaval, from devastating invasions by Xenos to internal rebellions that tear apart entire sectors. In these crises, the traditional structures of the Imperium often break down, leaving Astartes to fend for themselves. Without the support of their chapters or the guidance of the Imperium, some warriors are forced to make choices that place them outside the established order. Over time, these outliers coalesce into a broader phenomenon, united not by allegiance, but by shared experiences of loss and exile. In some cases, the formation of Black Shields is a deliberate act of defiance. Warriors who witness atrocities committed by their own brothers or leaders may reject their chapter entirely, viewing it as irredeemable. These individuals often see themselves as carrying on the true spirit of the Emperor's vision, untainted by the corruption they left behind. For them, the path of the Black Shield is not one of disgrace, but of honor, a chance to fight for a cause unburdened by the politics and failures of their former chapter. The psychological toll of being an Astartes also cannot be ignored. Though enhanced beyond human limits, Space Marines are not immune to trauma, guilt, and despair. Warriors who endure unimaginable horrors, particularly those who feel betrayed by their leaders or brothers, may find themselves unable to continue within their chapter. The Black Shield identity offers a means of escape, a way to reinvent themselves and find purpose outside the rigid confines of their past. Ultimately, the Black Shields are a product of the Imperium's contradictions. They are both a symptom of its failures and a testament to its resilience. Warriors who have been broken by the system yet continue to fight in their own way. Their existence challenges the narrative of unyielding loyalty that defines the Adeptus Astartes, revealing the complex, often painful realities behind the Imperium's martial facade. In their defiance, the Black Shields embody the fragility of loyalty and the enduring strength of those who refuse to be defined by their past. The story of the Black Shields unfolds as a series of pivotal events and key moments across the Imperium's history. These milestones reveal the evolution of this enigmatic phenomenon, from isolated occurrences to an enduring feature of the galaxy's complex landscape. Each phase in their development highlights the tensions between loyalty, survival, and self-determination, setting the stage for their continued existence in a universe dominated by war. The earliest known instances of Astartes abandoning their chapters can be traced to the chaotic aftermath of the Great Crusade. During this time, as the Imperium expanded its reach into the galaxy's farthest corners, countless Space Marine forces were deployed to conquer or pacify alien worlds. Some campaigns dragged on for decades, with warriors becoming cut off from their legions and left to fend for themselves. In these isolated environments, decisions were made not based on allegiance to distant leaders, but on the immediate realities of survival. These early outliers, though not yet recognized as Black Shields, planted the seeds of what would later become a recurring pattern. As the Imperium faced ongoing crises, instances of Astartes operating independently began to increase. One significant episode occurred during the Age of Apostasy, a period of widespread corruption and civil war within the Imperium. The infamously tyrannical rule of Goga Vandir forced many imperial institutions, including the Astartes, into impossible positions. Some space marines, disgusted by the corruption and betrayal of the Imperium's ideals, chose to abandon their chapters entirely rather than serve a regime they no longer recognized. These warriors became some of the earliest known Black Shields, their actions driven not by treachery, but by a desire to uphold what they believed to be the true spirit of humanity's struggle for survival. Over time, the phenomenon began to take on a more distinct identity. The rise of the Black Shields was not a uniform process, but rather a series of localized developments, often born out of unique circumstances. In the wake of large-scale campaigns, such as the Damocles Crusade and the Macarian conquests, numerous Astartes forces were left stranded or fragmented. These warriors, lacking guidance or reinforcements, banded together in makeshift groups to continue their battles. While some eventually rejoined their chapters, others remained in the shadows, unwilling or unable to return to their former lives. One of the most significant stages in the evolution of the Black Shields came during the Age of Redemption, a time marked by efforts to recover and consolidate lost imperial territories. During this era, the Imperium launched countless reclamation campaigns, often involving disparate forces drawn together from across the galaxy. In these chaotic and resource-starved conflicts, it became increasingly common for Black Shields to emerge as key players. Operating outside the formal chains of command, they frequently allied with other Imperial forces, their skills and experience proving invaluable in desperate situations. However, their presence also raised questions about loyalty and authority, with some commanders viewing them as unpredictable liabilities. A turning point in the history of the Black Shields occurred during the War of the Beast, a devastating conflict that saw the Imperium on the brink of annihilation. In the face of a galaxy-wide orc invasion, Black Shields appeared in greater numbers than ever before, joining the battle not for glory or recognition, but for the simple purpose of survival. Their actions during this war demonstrated the unique role they could play, operating as independent strike forces capable of achieving objectives that formal armies could not. Despite their contributions, they remained a source of tension, their presence raising uncomfortable questions about the Imperium's ability to maintain unity among its forces. In more recent times, the Black Shields have continued to play a shadowy but vital role in the Imperium's wars. During the Indomitus Crusade, launched by Robert Guilliman to stabilize the galaxy in the wake of the Great Rift, Black Shields were reported to have fought alongside Imperial forces in several key battles. These warriors, unbound by the doctrines of the Codex Astartes or the oversight of chapter masters, displayed a level of adaptability and independence that proved critical in the unpredictable environments of the shattered Imperium. Their contributions, however, were often met with suspicion, and their true numbers and motives remained shrouded in secrecy. The Black Shield's story is not confined to large-scale conflicts. It is also written in smaller, less documented acts of defiance and survival. Across the galaxy, countless individual warriors have chosen the path of the Black Shield, each driven by their own unique circumstances. Some are lone survivors of destroyed chapters, their armor stripped of all identifying marks as they wander the stars in search of purpose. Others are small groups of like-minded warriors, bound together by shared experiences of betrayal or exile. These stories, though often overlooked, form the backbone of the Black Shield's legacy, highlighting the diversity of their origins and the enduring nature of their struggle. The evolution of the Black Shields as a distinct group has also been shaped by their interactions with other factions. They have fought alongside rogue traders, navigated the labyrinthine politics of the Inquisition, and even clashed with other Astartes forces. These encounters have further cemented their reputation as unpredictable and enigmatic warriors, neither fully accepted nor entirely rejected by the Imperium. Their presence in the galaxy serves as a constant reminder of the complexities and contradictions of loyalty, a theme that resonates throughout the Imperium's history. As the galaxy continues to descend into chaos, the role of the Black Shields is likely to grow even more significant. Their ability to operate independently, free from the constraints of traditional hierarchies, makes them uniquely suited to the challenges of the modern era. At the same time, their existence raises fundamental questions about the nature of loyalty and identity in a universe defined by war. In this sense, the story of the Black Shields is not just a tale of individual warriors, but a reflection of the Imperium itself, a fractured, conflicted entity struggling to hold itself together in the face of endless conflict. Among the many stories of the Black Shields, one event stands out as emblematic of their unique place in the galaxy: the Battle of the Forgotten Vale. This engagement, fought in a desolate and uncharted region of space, serves as a defining example of how these enigmatic warriors operate, the choices they make, and the ripple effects of their actions on the broader Imperium. It was a battle not only of weapons but of ideals, where the fractured loyalties of the Black Shields were tested against the unforgiving realities of the Imperium's demands. The Forgotten Vale was a region long considered a navigational dead zone, its star systems obscured by dense warp storms and gravitational anomalies. For centuries, the Imperium had no interest in the Vale, dismissing it as an empty expanse unworthy of exploration. However, the cataclysmic emergence of the Great Rift shifted priorities, sending waves of instability across the galaxy. As Imperial forces scrambled to regain control of lost territories, fragmented warp storms in the Vale revealed a treasure trove of abandoned outposts and ancient relics. Among these was a derelict forge world believed to house technology critical to stabilizing regions threatened by the rift. The forge world, known as Tybrax 7, became the focal point of a desperate race. The Imperium, aware of its significance, dispatched a vanguard force to secure it. However, the arrival of a Chaos warband complicated matters. The forces of Chaos, drawn by the potential power of the relics, launched a brutal assault on Tybrax 7. The Imperial defenders, outnumbered and under-equipped, sent out a distress signal, hoping for reinforcements that would never arrive. Enter the Black Shields. A contingent of these warriors, traveling through the Vale on an unrelated mission, intercepted the distress signal. Unlike loyalist Astartes, the Black Shields were under no obligation to respond. Yet, for reasons known only to them, they chose to intervene. It was a decision that would alter the course of the battle and cement their reputation as a force neither fully aligned with the Imperium nor its enemies. The Black Shield's arrival was as unexpected as it was decisive. Emerging from the shadows of the Vale, their strike craft descended on Tybrax 7 with precision and ferocity. Unlike the disciplined formations of traditional Astartes forces, the Black Shields operated with unorthodox tactics, using guerrilla strikes and sabotage to destabilize the Chaos forces. Their knowledge of the terrain, combined with their unpredictable strategies, allowed them to turn the tide of the battle, forcing the Chaos warband into retreat. However, the intervention of the Black Shields raised questions that lingered long after the battle. Their motives were unclear, as were the origins of their warband. While their assistance saved the Forge world, their presence also unnerved the Imperial defenders. The Black Shields refused to identify themselves, their armor stripped of insignias and their communications cryptic at best. When the battle was won, they vanished as quickly as they had arrived, leaving the defenders to wonder whether they had been allies or opportunists pursuing their own agenda. The Battle of the Forgotten Vale had far-reaching consequences. Tybrax 7, now under Imperial control, became a critical hub for efforts to stabilize sectors near the rift. Yet the role of the Black Shields in securing this victory raised uncomfortable questions among Imperial leadership. Reports of their involvement were met with suspicion, with some inquisitors arguing that the Black Shields represented a dangerous precedent, warriors who operated outside the strict hierarchies that define the Imperium's power structure. The most significant decision tied to this event came not from the Black Shields themselves, but from the Imperium's response to their actions. In the aftermath of the battle, a faction within the Inquisition pushed for a coordinated effort to identify and root out Black Shield warbands, viewing them as potential threats. However, this initiative faced resistance from others who argued that the Black Shields, while unconventional, had proven themselves valuable allies in times of need. This debate underscored the broader tension between the Imperium's need for order and its reliance on those who operate in the gray areas of loyalty. For the Black Shields, the battle was a pivotal moment in their fragmented history. It demonstrated their capacity to influence major events, even while remaining outside the Imperium's formal structures. It also highlighted the unique challenges they face, balancing their independence with the need to navigate a galaxy where every action is scrutinized. In choosing to intervene at Tybrax 7, they not only changed the fate of a Forge world, but also solidified their identity as a force driven by their own enigmatic principles. The decisions made during and after the Battle of the Forgotten Vale continued to reverberate. For the Black Shields, it marked a rare moment where their actions were recognized, however fleetingly, as beneficial to the Imperium. For the Imperium, it was a reminder of the complexities and contradictions inherent in its vast, unyielding structure. And for those who study this enigmatic group, it remains a defining chapter in the ongoing story of warriors who defy categorization, embodying the fractures and resilience of a galaxy at war. The impact of the Black Shields on the galaxy is as enigmatic and far-reaching as their existence. While their numbers are small compared to the vast forces of the Imperium or the hordes of its enemies, their actions often ripple across war zones, sectors, and even imperial policy. Their presence challenges established norms and introduces a volatile element to conflicts, diplomacy, and the fragile order that holds the Imperium together. On the battlefield, the Black Shield's influence is undeniable. Their unorthodox tactics and willingness to defy standard doctrines make them unpredictable allies or adversaries. They thrive in situations where traditional forces falter, striking with precision in chaotic conditions. By appearing in unexpected places, often at critical junctures, they have turned the tide of battles that might otherwise have been lost. This adaptability has not only saved countless Imperial lives, but has also earned them a grudging respect from commanders who understand the value of unconventional strategies. However, their battlefield contributions come with complications. Imperial forces that find themselves fighting alongside Black Shields often report feelings of unease, mistrust, and confusion. These warriors lack the familiar heraldry and rituals that bind most Astartes to the Imperium, and their motivations remain a mystery. This uncertainty can undermine morale and create tension among allied forces. While their effectiveness cannot be denied, the Black Shield's mere presence raises questions about loyalty and the consequences of straying from the rigid structures of the Imperium. The political ramifications of the Black Shields are equally profound. Their existence challenges the Imperium's narrative of unity and loyalty, highlighting cracks in its seemingly unbreakable facade. For an empire built on order and the suppression of dissent, the notion that warriors as disciplined and revered as the Astartes could abandon their chapters is deeply unsettling. This has sparked debates within the highest levels of imperial authority, from the halls of the Inquisition to the chambers of high-ranking military leaders. Some see the Black Shields as a symptom of larger systemic failures, evidence that the Imperium's rigid hierarchies are not as infallible as they claim to be. The Inquisition, in particular, views the Black Shields with a mix of fascination and suspicion. Their independence makes them difficult to control, and their actions often skirt the edges of what the Imperium considers acceptable. While some Inquisitors have sought to eliminate Black Shield warbands, others recognize their value as agents capable of operating where formal Imperial forces cannot. These differing views have led to heated debates within the Inquisition, with no clear consensus on how to handle the phenomenon. Beyond the Imperium, the Black Shields have also influenced how other factions perceive humanity. Xenos empires and renegade forces have encountered Black Shields in ways that differ significantly from their experiences with traditional Imperial forces. Unlike loyalist Astartes, who fight with unwavering commitment to the Emperor, Black Shields often act on their own terms, driven by motives that are difficult to decipher. This has led to rare instances of temporary alliances with alien species or even non-hostile interactions, acts that would be unthinkable for most Imperial warriors. While these encounters are rare and fraught with risk, they illustrate the unpredictable nature of the Black Shield's influence on interstellar diplomacy and conflict. Economically and logistically, the Black Shields also leave their mark. Their raids and scavenging operations disrupt supply lines, whether intentionally or as a byproduct of their survival strategies. While this often affects the Imperium's enemies, it can also create friction with Imperial forces competing for the same resources. Forge worlds and other production hubs, already strained by the demands of endless war, sometimes view the Black Shields as opportunistic scavengers rather than allies. The delicate balance of resource distribution in the Imperium becomes even more precarious when Black Shields operate in contested areas. The cultural impact of the Black Shields is perhaps the most enduring. Within the Imperium, their existence has given rise to myths, rumors, and cautionary tales. They are both feared and admired, seen as cautionary examples of what happens when warriors stray from their duty and as legendary figures who defy impossible odds. This duality has found its way into the lore of the Imperium, with stories of Black Shields becoming a staple of barrack legends and even the ecclesiastical rhetoric of the Ministorum. Some preachers use tales of Black Shields to warn against the dangers of disobedience, while others frame them as tragic figures who serve as a reminder of the Imperium's harsh realities. For individual Black Shields, the galaxy's reaction to their actions can be a double-edged sword. Their victories often draw unwanted attention, with Imperial authorities scrutinizing their every move. Yet, their ability to operate in the shadows grants them a degree of freedom that few Astartes possess. This balance of visibility and obscurity allows them to influence events in ways that more established forces cannot, shaping the outcomes of conflicts and the fates of entire sectors. The broader implication of the Black Shield's impact is their challenge to the status quo. In a galaxy defined by rigid hierarchies and unyielding loyalty, their existence is a testament to the power of individual agency and the complexities of survival. They are a reminder that even the most disciplined and engineered warriors are not immune to doubt, dissent, and the need to chart their own paths. As the Imperium continues to face threats on all sides, the role of the Black Shield serves as both a warning and a lesson, highlighting the resilience and adaptability required to endure in a universe where order is an illusion and chaos is the only constant. The Black Shields are defined by their distinct and often mysterious characteristics, which set them apart from the more traditional forces of the Adeptus Astartes. Their uniqueness lies not only in their rejection of the rigid structures that govern the Imperium's warriors, but also in the methods, tools, and philosophies they have developed to survive and thrive in the harshest conditions of the galaxy. These aspects of their existence reveal a resourcefulness and adaptability rarely seen even among the elite ranks of humanity's defenders. One of the most striking features of the Black Shields is their armor. Stripped of all chapter heraldry and personal markings, their warplate is often painted a stark, unadorned black. This lack of identity serves a dual purpose. It obscures their origins, protecting them from the scrutiny of those who might seek to punish them for their desertion, and it symbolizes their break from the past. The absence of insignias creates an aura of anonymity, allowing them to move through the galaxy as shadows, unclaimed by any faction and unbound by any tradition. This anonymity extends to their tactics. Unlike traditional Astartes forces, which operate within the strict doctrines of their chapters, Black Shields employ a wide range of unorthodox methods. They are masters of asymmetrical warfare, relying on surprise, mobility, and unconventional strategies to overcome their enemies. Whether launching sudden raids on supply lines, sabotaging key infrastructure, or infiltrating enemy strongholds, their actions are unpredictable and often devastatingly effective. Their willingness to deviate from established norms allows them to adapt to ever-changing conditions, making them a dangerous and elusive foe. In terms of weaponry and equipment, the Black Shields are known for their eclectic and often improvised arsenals. Without the support of a chapter's forges or supply chains, they must scavenge, trade, or even steal to maintain their war gear. This results in a diverse array of weapons and tools, ranging from relics of forgotten conflicts to Xenos technologies that most loyalist Astartes would never dare to touch. Some Black Shield warbands have been reported using modified bolt guns, repurposed power armor components, and even alien devices adapted to suit their needs. This willingness to embrace the unconventional further distinguishes them from their more orthodox counterparts. The structure of Black Shield warbands is another unique feature. These groups are often small, consisting of a handful of warriors bound together by shared circumstances rather than formal hierarchies. Leadership is usually fluid, with the most experienced or capable individual assuming command. Decisions are made collectively or pragmatically, based on the immediate needs of the group rather than adherence to rigid protocols. This flexibility allows them to operate with a level of autonomy and cohesion that is difficult to achieve within the strict hierarchies of the Imperium. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the Black Shields is their code of conduct, or lack thereof. While traditional Astartes adhere to the strict moral and operational guidelines of their chapters, Black Shields are driven by a wide range of personal motivations. Some remain fiercely loyal to the ideals of the Emperor, even as they reject the institutions that claim to serve him. Others are guided by vengeance, seeking to punish those who betrayed them or to right perceived wrongs. Still others operate purely out of a desire to survive, their actions dictated by pragmatism rather than principle. This diversity of motives makes them a highly unpredictable force, capable of both great heroism and ruthless expediency. Another unique aspect of the Black Shields is their approach to alliances. Unlike traditional Astartes, who fight exclusively for the Imperium, Black Shields are known to form temporary pacts with a wide range of factions, including rogue traders, pirate fleets, and even Xenos species. These alliances are always transactional, based on mutual benefit rather than loyalty or ideology. While this behavior is seen as heretical by many within the Imperium, it has allowed the Black Shields to achieve objectives that would be impossible for more conventional forces. Their ability to navigate the complex web of interstellar politics and forge connections across cultural boundaries is a testament to their adaptability. The psychological resilience of the Black Shields is another defining trait. Cast out from the bonds of brotherhood that define most Astartes, they must rely on their own strength and resolve to endure. This isolation can be both a weakness and a strength. While some Black Shields succumb to despair or madness, others channel their solitude into a relentless determination to carve out their own destiny. Their ability to endure in the face of overwhelming odds and navigate the moral ambiguities of their existence speaks to a level of inner fortitude that is rare even among the genetically enhanced warriors of the Adeptus Astartes. The Black Shield's impact on the galaxy also extends to their philosophical implications. By rejecting the rigid hierarchies and doctrines of the Imperium, they challenge the idea that loyalty must always be absolute. Their existence raises questions about the nature of duty, identity, and purpose, forcing those who encounter them to grapple with the complexities of these concepts. For some, the Black Shields are a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of disobedience. For others, they represent a form of freedom, a rejection of the constraints that bind most Astartes to a life of unyielding service. Ultimately, the Black Shield's unique aspects are a reflection of the galaxy itself, a place of contradictions, chaos, and endless conflict. They embody the resilience and resourcefulness required to survive in such a brutal universe, even as they defy the expectations placed upon them. In their independence, they reveal the fragility of the systems that seek to control them and the enduring strength of those who choose to walk their own path. The Black Shields are often shrouded in mystery, but certain individuals have emerged whose actions and legacies illuminate the enigmatic nature of this phenomenon. These figures, defined by their exceptional skill, complex motivations, and defiance of convention, have left an indelible mark on the history of the Imperium and beyond. Their stories provide a rare glimpse into the lives of warriors who reject the bonds of their origins to forge their own paths in the chaos of the galaxy. One of the most infamous Black Shields is Darnath Corrin, a warrior whose name is both feared and respected in equal measure. Corrin's origins are unknown, though his fighting style and war gear suggest ties to a now obliterated chapter. He rose to prominence during the secession of the Palisades, a brutal campaign where Imperial forces sought to reclaim a cluster of rebellious worlds. Corrin appeared seemingly from nowhere, leading a strike force that carried out precision attacks against the secessionists' leadership. Despite his significant contributions to the campaign, Corrin refused to align himself fully with Imperial forces, disappearing before he could be questioned or rewarded. His actions have since become the stuff of legend, with conflicting accounts painting him as either a savior or an opportunist. Another notable figure among the Black Shields is Solkar Dravath, a warrior whose motivations appear to stem from a deep and abiding hatred of chaos. Dravath has been sighted across multiple war zones, always targeting forces aligned with the Dark Gods. Unlike many Black Shields who prefer to operate in the shadows, Dravath has a penchant for bold, highly visible attacks that leave little doubt as to his intentions. He is known for his brutal efficiency and for the eerie silence he maintains in battle, never speaking, even when addressed by allies. His signature weapon, a relic power sword of unknown origin, has become a symbol of his relentless crusade. Despite his apparent hatred for the Imperium's enemies, Dravath has never rejoined its ranks, leaving many to wonder what drives his solitary war. Not all Black Shields achieve fame through direct action. One such figure is Kaelor Vryn, a warrior philosopher who became renowned for his writings as much as his battlefield exploits. Vryn, believed to have been a chaplain before his exile, has penned numerous treatises exploring the nature of loyalty, identity, and duty. These works, written in fragmented scripts and distributed through underground networks, have sparked intense debate among scholars, Astartes, and inquisitors alike. While many dismiss Vryn's writings as dangerous heresy, others see them as a rare and valuable insight into the minds of those who walk the path of the Black Shield. His current whereabouts are unknown, though his influence continues to ripple through the Imperium's intellectual circles. A darker figure among the Black Shields is Tavos Malrin, a warrior whose reputation is steeped in blood and controversy. Malrin's warband has been linked to numerous brutal campaigns, where their actions often blur the line between necessity and atrocity. Operating in the lawless regions of the Maelstrom Zone, Malrin has been accused of targeting Imperial and Xenos forces alike, seemingly without regard for allegiance. Some claim he is a warlord building a kingdom of his own, while others suggest his actions are part of a deeper, more enigmatic agenda. Whatever the truth, Malrin's name is spoken with a mix of fear and fascination, his deeds serving as a stark reminder of the moral ambiguities that define the Black Shields. The story of Ilaran Kaith is one of redemption and tragedy. Kaith, a former apothecary, turned to the path of the Black Shield after witnessing corruption within his chapter. Driven by a desire to heal rather than destroy, he gathered a small group of like-minded warriors and began offering aid to beleaguered Imperial forces. Kaith's warband became known for their selfless actions, often arriving in the aftermath of battles to tend to the wounded and provide critical supplies. However, their efforts attracted the ire of certain Imperial authorities, who viewed their independence as a threat. Kaith's warband was eventually hunted down, their legacy preserved only in the stories of those they saved. A figure whose reputation straddles the line between myth and reality is Aaron Halos, often referred to as the Black Harbinger. Halos is said to lead a nomadic fleet that emerges only in the galaxy's darkest moments, offering aid to those on the brink of annihilation. Whether fighting off Xenos invasions or reinforcing crumbling defenses, Halos and their warband appear as if summoned by the desperation of those in need. While many accounts speak of their valor and effectiveness, others hint at a more sinister side, suggesting that Halos extracts a heavy price for their assistance. Some whisper that the Black Harbinger is not a person, but a title passed down through generations, adding to the mystique surrounding this enigmatic leader. Finally, there is the tale of Tarek Soren, a Black Shield who operates on the fringes of the Segmentum Pacificus. Soren is unique among his peers for his willingness to engage with the wider Imperium, often serving as a mediator between disparate factions. Known for his calm demeanor and strategic brilliance, Soren has played a pivotal role in resolving conflicts that might otherwise have escalated into full-scale wars. While some view his actions as altruistic, others suspect he has ulterior motives, using diplomacy as a means to secure resources and allies for his warband. Regardless of his true intentions, Soren's influence on the region is undeniable, his presence a testament to the multifaceted role Black Shields can play in the galaxy. These individuals, each with their own motives and methods, exemplify the complexity of the Black Shields. Their actions, whether heroic, ruthless, or enigmatic, reflect the broader struggles of a galaxy where loyalty is tested, and survival often demands choices that defy convention. Through their deeds, they remind us that even in a universe defined by rigid structures and unyielding ideologies, there is room for those who walk their own path, guided only by their own sense of purpose. The Black Shields remain one of the most enigmatic and controversial phenomena in the galaxy, their existence surrounded by unanswered questions and whispered theories. Their very nature, operating in the shadows and shunning traditional loyalties, invites speculation about their origins, motives, and ultimate purpose. These mysteries not only fuel curiosity, but also highlight the deeper complexities of the Imperium itself, where even its most disciplined warriors can become symbols of ambiguity. One of the most pressing questions about the Black Shields concerns their origins. While it is widely accepted that many are Astartes who have abandoned their chapters, the specific reasons behind these choices often remain unclear. For some, the decision to leave may stem from ideological disagreements or personal disillusionment, but in other cases, the motivations are more obscure. Could there be external forces manipulating these warriors, subtly driving them toward rebellion or independence? Some theorists argue that the warp itself, with its corrupting influence, might play a role in isolating and alienating these individuals, though this theory lacks concrete evidence. The question of their numbers is another enduring mystery. No comprehensive record exists of how many Black Shields operate across the galaxy, and estimates vary wildly. Some believe they are a relatively small and isolated phenomenon, while others suggest that entire fleets or hidden fortresses could house significant numbers of these warriors. This uncertainty is compounded by the fact that Black Shields often avoid direct confrontation with Imperial authorities, making it nearly impossible to assess their true scale. If their numbers are indeed larger than suspected, the implications for the Imperium's stability could be profound. A particularly contentious theory involves the potential for an organized network among the Black Shields. While they are often portrayed as solitary figures or small, fragmented warbands, some evidence suggests the existence of hidden communication channels or alliances. Reports of multiple Black Shield groups coordinating their actions in specific campaigns have surfaced, though these claims are difficult to verify. If such a network exists, it raises the possibility of a greater purpose or shared ideology driving their actions. This would represent a significant threat or opportunity, depending on one's perspective within the Imperium. The role of the Black Shields in broader galactic events also sparks debate. Are their actions purely reactive, driven by immediate survival and necessity, or do they reflect a deeper strategy? Some theorists posit that the Black Shields might be fulfilling a larger, unseen role within the galaxy, acting as a counterbalance to the rigidity and corruption of the Imperium. Others dismiss this notion, viewing them as little more than outcasts whose presence is a symptom of the galaxy's inherent chaos. This dichotomy underscores the difficulty of understanding a phenomenon that exists so far outside the norms of Imperial life. Another unresolved question involves their interactions with other factions. While Black Shields are known to form temporary alliances when it suits their needs, the full extent of these relationships remains a mystery. Are there Xeno species or rogue human empires that actively collaborate with Black Shields, perhaps even providing them with sanctuary or resources? Some accounts suggest that Black Shield warbands have been spotted wielding technology far beyond what they could scavenge on their own, hinting at clandestine partnerships. These rumors, if true, would further blur the lines between loyalty and pragmatism, challenging the Imperium's black and white view of allegiance. The psychological and spiritual state of the Black Shields also invites speculation. The decision to abandon one's chapter and its defining traditions is not made lightly, and the toll this takes on an Astartes' mind and soul is likely immense. Are the Black Shields united by a shared sense of loss or alienation, or do they adapt individually to their new reality? Some argue that their isolation might lead to greater susceptibility to corruption, while others believe it fosters a unique resilience and independence. The answer may lie in the fragmented nature of their existence, where each Black Shield's journey is shaped by personal choices and experiences. One of the most tantalizing mysteries surrounding the Black Shields is the possibility of their redemption, or lack thereof. Can a Black Shield, having cast off their chapter and its oaths, ever return to the fold of the Imperium? There are stories, though rare and often apocryphal, of Black Shields who have been pardoned or reintegrated into Imperial forces. These accounts, however, are met with skepticism, as the Imperium's institutions are not known for their forgiveness. If such redemption is possible, it raises questions about the criteria and circumstances under which it might occur. Conversely, the absence of a clear path back to the Imperium underscores the finality of the Black Shield's decision to walk away. Perhaps the most unsettling theory is that the Black Shields represent a microcosm of a larger, inevitable collapse within the Imperium. Their existence challenges the core principles of loyalty, unity, and control that underpin the Imperium's stability. If warriors as disciplined and loyal as the Astartes can break away, what does this say about the rest of humanity? Some fear that the Black Shields are merely the first signs of a broader unraveling, a symptom of the Imperium's inability to adapt to the galaxy's ever-changing realities. Others see them as a necessary evolution, a counterweight to the Imperium's rigidity that could help it survive in the long term. Ultimately, the unanswered questions surrounding the Black Shields are as much a reflection of the galaxy's complexity as they are of the individuals themselves. Their existence forces the Imperium to confront uncomfortable truths about its own limitations, while their actions continue to influence events in ways that defy easy categorization. Whether they are outcasts, revolutionaries, or something in between, the Black Shields remain an enigma, a mystery that challenges the very foundations of what it means to fight, survive, and belong in a universe defined by endless war. The long-term implications of the Black Shields ripple across the galaxy, their existence serving as both a symptom and a catalyst of larger shifts in the Imperium's fragile order. Over centuries, these warriors, isolated and independent, have left an indelible mark on the universe, their actions challenging the status quo and introducing unforeseen variables into the vast machinery of war and governance. One of the most profound consequences of the Black Shields is their impact on the concept of loyalty. For an Imperium that thrives on unwavering devotion to its institutions, the Black Shields are a stark reminder that even its most genetically engineered and indoctrinated warriors are not immune to doubt, rebellion, or independence. Their existence undermines the assumption that loyalty is absolute, showing that it can be tested, fractured, and even reforged outside the Imperium's control. This realization has forced some Imperial leaders to confront the inherent weaknesses in their systems of control and the limits of their authority. The presence of the Black Shields has also contributed to a growing awareness of the Imperium's structural failures. They are living proof of the cracks in the vast bureaucratic edifice that seeks to govern a galaxy-wide empire. From logistical failures that leave warriors stranded to corruption and mismanagement that alienate even the most loyal servants, the conditions that create Black Shields highlight the Imperium's inability to adapt to the realities of a constantly shifting galaxy. As these issues become more visible, they spark debates, not publicly, but in whispered conversations among those who see the need for reform. While significant change remains unlikely, the Black Shields serve as a cautionary tale for those who recognize the fragility of the Imperium systems. For the Adeptus Astartes, the long-term implications of the Black Shields are particularly significant. These warriors are a direct challenge to the identity and cohesion of Space Marine chapters. Their existence raises uncomfortable questions about the rigidity of traditions, the fallibility of leaders, and the price of blind obedience. Some chapters have responded by tightening their internal discipline, while others have quietly begun to reevaluate their practices in the hopes of preventing future defections. This tension has led to subtle but meaningful shifts in how certain chapters approach their duty, their relationships with the Imperium, and their interactions with their own warriors. The Black Shields have also reshaped the dynamics of conflict across the galaxy. Their willingness to operate outside established norms and alliances has introduced an element of unpredictability to war zones. They are a force that cannot be easily categorized or controlled, and their actions often disrupt the carefully laid plans of both Imperial and enemy forces. This unpredictability can be both a strength and a weakness, as it forces other factions to adapt to the presence of a variable that defies conventional logic. In some cases, the Black Shield's interventions have saved entire sectors from collapse. In others, their actions have exacerbated already volatile situations, leading to unintended consequences. On a broader scale, the existence of the Black Shields has contributed to a slow but significant shift in the galaxy's cultural and philosophical landscape. Among the Imperium's countless worlds, stories of the Black Shields are told with a mix of awe and fear, their deeds immortalized in both cautionary tales and whispered legends. These narratives shape how ordinary citizens and soldiers perceive the galaxy's harsh realities. To some, the Black Shields represent the dangers of stepping outside the bounds of tradition. To others, they are a symbol of resilience and self-determination in a universe where survival often requires defying convention. For those outside the Imperium, the Black Shields are an intriguing anomaly. Rogue traders, Xenos empires, and even Chaos forces have taken notice of these independent warriors. Their willingness to engage with a wide range of factions, albeit on their own terms, has led to unexpected alliances and confrontations that challenge the established order. This openness, however limited, has made the Black Shields a wild card in the galaxy's endless conflicts, their actions capable of tipping the balance in unforeseen ways. The significance of the Black Shields also lies in the questions they force the Imperium to confront. Are they merely a byproduct of the galaxy's chaos, or do they represent a new emerging paradigm within humanity's struggle for survival? Their independence, adaptability, and resourcefulness suggest a path forward that diverges from the rigid structures of the Imperium. While their methods and motivations are often seen as dangerous or heretical, their success in navigating the galaxy's brutal realities cannot be ignored. They stand as a testament to the power of individual agency, even in a universe dominated by massive impersonal forces. Perhaps the most enduring legacy of the Black Shields is the way they reflect the galaxy's fundamental truth, that nothing is static and even the most powerful institutions are subject to change. Their existence challenges the idea that the Imperium's systems and traditions are eternal, showing that even within the rigid confines of its doctrines, there is room for divergence and innovation. This legacy, though unsettling to many, offers a glimmer of hope for those who believe that survival in the 41st millennium requires more than adherence to the past. In the end, the Black Shields are both a product and a reflection of their universe, a place of contradictions, uncertainties, and relentless struggle. Their long-term significance lies not only in their actions, but in what they represent: the resilience of those who refuse to be bound by convention, the adaptability required to endure in a galaxy of endless war, and the enduring power of choice in the face of overwhelming odds. Their story is far from over, and as the galaxy continues to evolve, so too will the role of the Black Shields in shaping its future.